Hello and welcome to this Magna-Matic Tip of the Week video. We will be servicing some SCAG mulching blades. You'll see here these are the wavy, curvy type of blades where we actually have bends stamped in the cutting edge. We're going to be using the MAG-8200 and we'll be showing you a way to deburr the edges as well as get all these nicks out, because there are some very heavy nicks in these blades. They have been in a very rough lawn. So we'll get you a quick close-up view of the blades and then we'll begin the service. Here we've got a close-up view of one end of all three blades, and you can see here there are quite a few very deep nicks across these blades. We'll take a look at some of the other side here. Here we have some, again, very deep nicks where a lot of rocks and things were hit. Now, of course, in addition to being very dirty, we'll quick double check one of the angles with the Magna-Matic angle gauge, and here it appears that they are, in fact, 30 degrees, so we won't be having to fix the angle on the blades. As far as the thickness of the blade, it looks like these are a full 1/4 inch thick blade. So they are a nice heavy commercial blade. One of the things we'll be doing with these blades is I'll be showing you with the MAG-8200 belt grinder how we're going to kind of face grind all of these nicks out. We're then going to do the first 2 inches of the blade with the belt grinder and the flat table, and then we'll switch over to the 1/2 inch wheel and we'll clean up the curved portion as a secondary operation. The first operation we have to take care of is validating that the blade is in fact straight, that the 2 cutting tips are tracking in the same plane. We'll be using the MAG-1000 balancer here to check the straightness. I'll be connecting it to the magnet, bringing the gauge rod down to the tip of the blade, and then I'll be checking from one tip to the other to see if the blade is straight, and it is, so we can service this blade. The first operation is to clean the blade. We'll be using the MAG 12008 blade cleaner. Here's now a close-up view of how nice and clean the blades are after being run through the MAG 12008 blade cleaner. And of course, at this step of the service, we're inspecting to see if there are any possible fractures or any damage to the blade that was hidden underneath the grass. So I'll show you how we're going to tip the edge up on the work table and grind that edge back again so that we can get a good starting point. We will then grind a new cutting edge and tip on the first 2 inches and then switch over to do the mulching or curved portion with the 1/2 inch wide wheel and the rounded work table with the same machine. Here's a close-up view of the nice pointed corners or new teeth we have put on the blades. We've got nice pointed corners on each one. Here you can tell this blade in the back is getting a little close to the lift. This is probably the last sharpening for this blade, whereas these two have some more material before we get to the lift bend to be able to give a couple more resharpenings. But again, I just want to point out the nice consistent 30-degree cutting edge angle along with a nice hard pointed tooth or tip again on these blades, which is what we're trying to achieve. Here's a quick inside view of the 8200. We've taken out the contact wheel and the idler pulley that ran the 2-inch wide belt and placed in the 1/2-inch wide grinding wheel. We've also removed the flat work table that was in there, and we placed in the mulching rounded table versus here the flat one. These attach to the modular work table system with these universal plates that we have designed to clamp into this vise. We have a specific detailed video where you can watch this process. It takes about under a minute to switch over from a belt to a wheel or wheel back to a belt. Now we'll be sharpening the curved portion of these cutting edges with that 1/2-inch wide wheel and that rounded work table. It's important to note as you watch me sharpen these, I am not manipulating this blade. I am allowing the rounded work table to follow the underside and keep the same angle along the top of the cutting edge. So I am not manipulating the blade, I am simply drawing it over that rounded work table and allowing the blade to tilt and move because the underside will replicate the top side. And the final step in service is to check the balance of each blade. And you'll notice when we do this, I'm looking for a quarter turn from the blade, essentially, let's say, for example, from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and how fast the blade is moving. If the blade moves from 3 to 6, or how fast it gains speed, is our indication of how much material to remove. Generally speaking, a blade that drops in 4 seconds or less should be corrected. And if a blade takes longer than that to move from, let's say, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, that quarter turn, that blade is well within tolerance enough to be used safely. Because of the accuracy and the precision of the MAG-1000, you're able to get such a precise reading and a quick reading because of its accuracy. Let's do that next. And this completes the service of these 3 SCAG blades with the MAG-8200BM with the water cooling. We used the MAG-12008 blade cleaner to clean the unit, and we happened to use a MAG-1000G to balance the blades. I hope this was informative. If you'd like any more information on blade service, we have a very robust educational section under support at our educational blog, as well as we have many YouTube videos about this subject. If you'd like any more information on the products, please check out Magna-Matic.com. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you very much for watching.